Episode 8. Through the fire, conflict as a doorway. Today, I want to talk about conflict. That moment in a team where something shifts. The conversation gets tight. Someone raises their voice. Or someone stops talking. You feel it in your body before you hear it in your ears. And what do we usually do? We tighten, we protect, we look away. But here's the twist. What if conflict isn't the enemy? What if it's not a problem to solve, but a doorway to walk through? In the lens of deep democracy, conflict is not dysfunction. It's information. It's intelligence. It's a sign that something wants to be seen. Something deeper, truer, more whole. But let's pause here. What is deep democracy? Originally developed by Myrna and Arnold Mindell and expanded by practitioners like the Lewis method, deep democracy is a facilitation approach that welcomes all voices, especially those that are silent, marginalized, or emerging. It holds that wisdom doesn't just live in consensus, but in difference, in tension, and even in disturbance. It assumes that every system, every team, every group has its own field of awareness. When conflict arises, it's not just about personalities. It's the system speaking. Think about it. If a team were flat, silent, always in harmony, would that be a healthy team? Or would it be a team where people have stopped bringing their full selves? We've been trained to believe that a good team is a peaceful team. But often, what we call peace is just the silence of suppressed difference. So true peace doesn't mean absence of conflict. It means presence within conflict. Presence of listening, presence of courage, presence of inquiry, even when it's uncomfortable. Let's go deeper. Every team has an invisible boundary, a window of tolerance for tension, disagreement, emotional truth. Inside that window, people stay present. They can disagree and still stay connected. They can hold different truths without attacking or withdrawing. But once the heat rises too much, the nervous system says no more, and we flip into survival mode. Some fight, some shut down, some smooth over, people please or distract. But here's what we miss when we rush past the moment. The fire is full of truth. Let's name 3 common ways teams bypass the fire. 1. Download. We repeat old mental models, like, she always reacted this way, or this team never listens. We're not really present. We are recycling the past. 2. Blame. We reduce complex dynamics into personal flaws. Oh, if only she weren't so emotional. If he would just stop micromanaging. But blame shrinks awareness. It makes it about someone instead of sensing what the system is trying to show us. And 3, avoid. We change the topic, we lighten the mood, we say, well, let's take this offline, and we never do. And in doing so, we lose a chance to grow the team's capacity for truth. But what if we choose a different path? Here are 3 transformational moves, simple but powerful. First move, pause the pattern. The first step is awareness. Conflict brings heat, but we don't have to be consumed by it. We can learn to say, Well, I'm noticing a lot of energy here. Can we slow this down? Or even, well, this feels important. Can we take a breath before we respond? This simple move interrupts reactivity. It creates space. And space is where transformation begins. The second step is to listen beyond the person. In deep democracy, we ask, what role is speaking here? Maybe one person is holding the role of the unseen, or another is carrying the rebel, or the protector, or the truth teller. When we listen for the role, not just the person, we stop taking things so personally and we start listening systemically. We realize this isn't just about me or about you. It's something that the system needs to hear. And here's the key. Every voice that shows up in conflict is trying to restore wholeness. The third step is to welcome the wisdom inside the tension. Behind every strong position is a deeper value. Behind every emotional reaction is a sacred longing. So instead of asking who's right, ask what truth is being protected here. Or try questions like, what do you care deeply about that's underneath this reaction? What's the value that you are standing for? What part of this conversation do we keep skipping? These questions don't solve the conflict, but they soften it. They open a third space where something new can emerge. Now, let's explore a practice rooted in deep democracy's approach to polarities. When a team gets stuck between two opposing positions, say, structure versus freedom, speed versus inclusion, results versus well-being, the facilitator invites everyone to speak from both poles. It goes like this. Each person first defends one side, like, yes to speed, we're too slow, we need to deliver. And then they switch. Yes to reflection, we're burning out, we need to include more voices. And finally, each person shares what they have learned from inhabiting both truths. This practice is powerful. It dissolves the illusion of sides. It reveals that most polarities are not problems to be solved, but tensions to be held. Let me share a story. In a cross-functional leadership team that I worked with, a recurring conflict played out in every meeting. One leader pushed for speed and execution, and another slowed things down, wanting reflection and inclusion. It became personal, tense, exhausting. Until one day, we paused. We named the polarity. We did the exercise. Each person defended both poles. We listened to the deeper values. Urgency and depth. Delivery and humanity, not opposites, but complements. The conflict wasn't blocking the work. It was the work. It was holding a truth that the team needed to embody more fully. And once they saw that, the conversation shifted, not instantly, but meaningfully. They started to ask in every meeting, are we moving too fast for quality? Are we over-reflecting when action is needed? So conflict became feedback, not failure. So here's what I want to leave you with. Conflict is the fire that can either burn a team or forge it. The difference is whether we walk through it with consciousness and with curiosity and with respect with what it holds. Not all conflict is easy. Some is loaded with history, trauma, power dynamics. It takes skill to hold it well. But it starts with willingness, the willingness to stay, to not look away, and to ask, what is this moment trying to teach us? Because every conflict is also a doorway, a threshold, an initiation, if we dare to walk through it together, We don't just solve the problem, we evolve. So let me leave you with 3 questions for reflection. What conflict am I currently avoiding, and what wisdom might it contain? When heat rises in my team, how do I usually react? What polarity is alive in my team right now, and how can I help the team explore both sides more fully? So, if you liked something in this podcast today, send this episode to someone who is dealing with conflict. And until next time, I am Giovanna D'Alessio, and this is The Orange Twist.